So we have a fascinating election to look forward to on the Republican side happening today. It's going to be a topsy-turvy day. Now, Trump is probably going to win Florida and probably going to win North Carolina. But Illinois is a little more open, and Cruz has a shot there. Now, Trump is still a small favorite in Illinois, but it is competitive for Cruz. And what we've seen is that Cruz is actually capable of making up deficits in the polls going into Election Day. So in other words, if Trump is a favorite by 5 points or 10 points in a given state, it's actually fair to say that it might be a tie with Cruz if Cruz is the guy in second, because we've seen from other states and other polling data, usually when Trump is up only 5 or 10 points, it's more like a tie with Cruz, and sometimes Cruz edges out those states. So in order for Trump to really feel comfortable, he has to have like a 15 or 20 point lead or more going into these different states. So again, Florida and North Carolina probably go Trump. Illinois leans Trump, but Cruz can be competitive there. In Ohio, Kasich is actually a small favorite, believe it or not. That's his state. And then you have Trump, who has a shot in Ohio as well. And then Missouri, again, could go either Trump or Cruz. That one's probably leaning Cruz. So basically, the breakdown for what's going to happen today on the Republican side is look for the state of the race to stay similar to what it is now. And basically what that means is Trump has a solid lead. He's like 80 to 85% to get the nomination, but Cruz is the only other viable second option in the long run. And again, as I've said from day one, that's still not even really all that true, because Cruz is in trouble with the kind of support that he gets. There's only so much from his base that he has, because he, appeals to super old, super white evangelical Christians, and they have to be really, really religious. And, max, that's 25, 35% of the country, and even among them, they're split too, and some of them go to Rubio. So, I just, as I've said from day one, I think Ted Cruz is more of the Rick Santorum of this election cycle. It's just that he's hanging on because it's such a weird election season, and there's so few viable options that the Rick Santorum of this election cycle has a really outside shot, whereas Rick Santorum himself really had almost no shot. But that's the general breakdown. You're going to have Trump leading still with a tremendous chance to get the nomination, and you have Cruz barely hanging on, and Marco Rubio shitting the bed as usual, and John Kasich thinks that this Ohio victory is going to somehow propel him to overcome math and make it so that he's the nominee. That's not going to happen. So state of the race will stay very similar. Trump leading by a wide margin, everybody else far behind. And again, this could mean that they're setting up for some kind of a tricky move, a brokered convention at the convention. And if that happens, you think the Civil War in the Republican Party is bad now? Wait until you see what it's like then.